Hello there, friends. This is Jake, and today I want to explain to you how your wounds can reveal your wisdom, and how through introspecting, identifying, and letting yourself feel into your wounding and into your trauma, you can transmute and alchemize that into your highest light and your highest gifts. You've heard of the shadow and shadow work, and that's traditionally associated with those sort of negative aspects we don't like about ourselves, that we don't want to see about ourselves. But when you can start to accept those part of yourselves, that's when you can transmute those aspects into their higher qualities, because also within the shadow is a golden shadow, which contains your highest possibilities, your highest virtues, and your greatest gifts. So I want to lead you through an exercise which I practiced the other day, which was very powerful for me in this respect. And credit to Jordan Thornton, who I learned this exercise from. Now, you're going to need a notebook and a pencil or a piece of paper, something to write on. Even a sticky note would be enough. So go ahead and grab your journal or grab a piece of paper, and let's get started with this exercise. So what you're going to do is, first, before you write anything down, just kind of sit with yourself, close your eyes, go inward, and think about what are the three biggest traumatic aspects that you experienced in your life. Or how do I say this? What are the three biggest, in one word, in 1 to 3 words, what are the biggest wounds that you experienced in your life, especially from ages 0 to 18? For example, abandonment, or I don't want to give too many examples because I don't want to affect what answers you're going to come up with, but invisibility, things like that. I don't want to influence what answers you're going to come up with. So just go inside, take as long as you need, take 5 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes. Go ahead and pause the video in a second and just really go inside and allow yourself to intuitively come up with the answer of what are your three biggest wounds that you experienced growing up. And, it doesn't have to be the perfect word, just something that you feel encapsulates what you went through in 1 to 3 words. So go ahead and pause the video now and do that exercise, and then come back and we'll go on to the next step. All right, so now that you've got that, we'll go on to the next step. You can see I've got my 3 here. I just did this a few days ago, so I already knew what these were going to be, but I kind of just checked inwardly real quick to make sure that was still what I wanted to write down. So I have invisibility, worthlessness, and dissociation were the 3 biggest wounds that I experienced growing up. Now that you've got that, I want you to think about, if you were to completely reverse that and flip it on its head, what are the 3 positive aspects associated with that? So for me, what's the opposite of invisibility? What would that word be? What would that 1 to 2 words be? What's the opposite of dissociation? What would that word be? So what you can do is, if you have your words like this, you can just draw an arrow like that there, and then write the positive opposite on the other side of that. So go ahead and now take a few minutes to do that, and I'll see you in a second with the next part of the exercise. All right, so here are my answers, or here's what I wrote down for this exercise. Invisibility to intimacy, worthlessness to love, and dissociation to presence. So now you see that those wounds you experienced, you have within you the potential to experience those opposites to a profound degree in your life once you heal these wounds. And that's kind of the purpose. That's where we're going. Now, what I want you to do is, for each of those three positive aspects, just kind of intuitively feel into, on a scale from 0% to 100%, how much you're currently embodying that in your life. So I'll go ahead and do this with you right now. And I just did this the other day. Pause the video if you need more time. But for me, for love, I feel like I am embodying that one to a high degree, so I give myself an 80%. Presence, when I did this a few days ago, I gave myself 50%, but I feel like after doing this exercise and going into the next step that we're going to get to, I'm going to give myself a 60% on presence right now. And then intimacy is, the one that hit the most for me and the one that I'm struggling with. So I'm going to give myself a 30% on that. So go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. But once you've got those ratings for each of the positive aspects, what you can do is tell yourself an affirmation to embed that within your subconscious and conscious mind. For example, something like, I suffered from invisibility and I deserve intimacy. And that word deserve is a powerful word. And that's going to program your mind to feel that you deserve this. And it's something that, because this wounding that we experienced in childhood, the environment we grew up in, it made us believe that we don't deserve to experience the positive side of these things. That's the paradigm that we're coming from, that we need to break through to experience the highest golden shadow, to experience our gifts in our life, to experience abundance in our life. We need to break through those shackles. So what I encourage you to do is, for the next week or two or longer, just take a couple minutes in the morning and do these affirmations. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 of these. Maybe just choose one. The one that was most powerful for me was, I suffered from invisibility and I deserve intimacy and connection in my life. And you can modify the affirmation if you want to just say the 3 positive qualities. I deserve intimacy, the deepest intimacy, love, and presence in my life. And repeat that affirmation 5 or 10 times in the morning or in the evening on a daily basis to cement that within your conscious and your subconscious. Right now, today's the full moon, and astrologically speaking, it's a very auspicious time to let your old identity fade away and cement that new identity and cement those gifts into your life and start to really plant the seeds to make that transition. I'm sure you've already planted the seeds, probably, if you're watching this video. So now just continuing to water those seeds and affirm that new reality to yourself to really embed that transition in your consciousness. And, no matter what time, if you're watching this video weeks or months into the future, this exercise is still going to work and is still going to make a positive impact at any time that you're watching this, of course. And the one more step that I encourage you to also take is to look at this list here and just think, what are the 1 or 2 practical steps I can take in my life right now to make this transition? For me, the one I wanted to focus on right now is presence with all the meditation. And, I've already made progress in the last couple of days. It's gone from 50 to 60%. And, you know, the change I decided to make was to just stop watching so many YouTube videos and spending as much time as I have been in the last couple of weeks on social media, to come back to that presence within myself and carry that presence that I cultivate in my daily meditation practice into the rest of my life. And, you know, if you have a meditation practice, then a great time to repeat these affirmations is towards the end of your meditation, because the more single pointed your focus is, the more concentration and focus you can say these affirmations with, the more effective that's going to be. So, whenever you're repeating these affirmations, really go inward, maybe just at least follow the breath for a couple minutes, get to a place of focus, and repeat these affirmations with a great deal of attention. That's going to make them very effective for you. So with that being said, if you feel called to share your answers, or maybe share one of your affirmations in the comments, I'd love to see it. And if you got something out of this, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a like on the video. Hype up the video if you're on mobile. And I'll see you very soon on the next video. So stay aligned, stay blessed.